Good morning, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I'm here with this really gorgeous Tourmaline crystal in matrix. And the matrix may be a type of feldspar or a type of quartz. I'm not exactly sure at the moment. Feels to me like feldspar or a type of moonstone, which the two are the same. And so this beautiful being started singing to me. And before I get into that story, let me introduce myself. I am co-creator of Song of Stones. And when I say co-creator, I mean it's me and the crystals. And I am a crystal whisperer, which means that I listen for the messages that the crystals have for us. And I also really love to help people connect with the crystals who are singing just for them. And so that's the gist of what I do. And so this beautiful being started singing the other day. And just about the time when another crystal was singing, a crystal bear, and that one shared its energy during our last crystal meditation. And if you haven't been to our live crystal meditations, you are invited to come. Anybody who is part of the crystal community is invited to come, and you can sign up through the website, and there's links on social media as well to sign up. And you get also some other goodies and gifts and stuff. But so the bear energy has been here very powerfully. And I've been talking about, in the last blog especially, I talked about how sometimes our spirit guides will join a crystal guide, and they share their energy through and with the crystalline ones. So bear has been a big energy here lately. And when I saw this crystal, and I don't know that you will see the same thing, because we see what we need to see, but I was seeing bear in a top hat. It was the cutest image. It's just a lovely thought of bear in this top hat. And then, of course, later when I started looking into what the energy of the hat would signify, I realized that, I was like, top hat is like a magician's hat. Of course, it's magic. It has to be magic. So, I'm seeing it again in another way. And it's very interesting that you can see the same energy in so many different ways. From different angles, the same energy comes through. And I think that's because, let me explain more what that means so I'm being clear. So I see from one angle, I see the bear in the top hat, and then from another angle, in another part of the crystal, I see bear again. And then, I might see it if I turn the crystal around, and I think that's because the actual visual part, like what our eyes see, is really secondary to what energy is coming from the being. It's really I'm receiving this as I'm sharing it with you, so excuse the pace at which I'm speaking. So it's really very fascinating to me how it works. You know, the invisible energy, we pick up on that before our eyes, before our hands, before any other of the coarser sensations kick in. We've already picked up on it. And then there's the magic of how the universe sends us these beings. You know, Bear didn't show up for me once. It didn't show up for me twice. It showed up 5 times in like one day. So I'm like, okay, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and that's how it is. You know, the universe just will continue to speak to us. So what then? So we've got this crystal, this bear energy, then what? And what I do, what I invite you to do, is to just, sit with the energy for sure and just feel into that energy, and also, even if it's nothing more, even if you go no further than the knowing that the universe is sending you this beautiful energy to support you in your life, in your pursuits, in your business, in your life, in your love, in your wherever it is. So even just knowing that that's there and that's coming. Not coming, it's here. That alone is such a huge gift. Like, that just on its own, the universe is sending me this because it's looking out for me, because it loves me, because it's supporting me in this way. And so even that would be enough, but of course, we love to know more. We want to know the science behind it. We want to know the message behind it. We want to know more. We just want to know more. So then you can explore, the websites that have all the information on animal medicine, or you could, feel in to what, because, if you explore through books and through, libraries and websites and stuff like that, you could get great information. And I would encourage you to, because there's a lot of information, especially with some things, like bear, there's a ton, because bear is such an important being for us, in many cultures, many traditions, many places around the world. But what I would suggest is, when you're looking up the information, stay open and stay really in touch with your body. Be really present. And then just let the information come to you, like what's resonating the most with you, and what feels more present and more alive and more interesting. What fascinates you? What draws you? And then you'll narrow in on the message. But then what you could also do is just sit with the crystal, sit with the energy, sit with the intention of knowing what that message is for you today, in this moment. And it could change tomorrow. And I found that happened with me with this crystal, with bear energy. It was one thing one day, and then the next day when it showed up again, wasn't that it was something else. It grew, it deepened, it got bigger. And I'll share that with you in case it might mean something to you as well, because we're all so connected that, you know, it's just how the universe works. But so one of the things that I got was about the pause, about, you know, how bear hibernates. And it hibernates, and I mentioned this, but I'll mention it again, is one of the things that really fascinated me was when Bear first showed up in a story, through a story, and through this book that I've been reading with my book club, Women Who Run with Wolves. And what I discovered was something that I didn't know before about bear, is that they the mating season comes before the hibernation, and sometimes the male will impregnate the female before she goes into hibernation, but the egg and the sperm do not come together until they stay floating in the waters of the bear until it's time for them to come together. And the timing works in this beautiful harmony so that when the mother bear comes out of hibernation, she comes out ready to give birth to her young. So as a creative person, that says so much to me, because you know, so much is happening in those times where we feel least productive, in the pregnant pause. And that, wow, gives huge meaning to the term pregnant pause. And she pauses for effect. And so that was the big message that I felt was for me, is trusting in the pause, trusting in that creative energy. And I've had to do that for Song of Stones, because last year I was very clear from the beginning of the year what the year was going to be about for my community. And we were working on, I don't want to say working on, we were connecting with the energy of crystallizing our power. And that's everything that came through that year, last year. Yesterday, in other words, was about that, was about empowering ourselves, about, moving out of the energy of being helpless, feeling helpless after the last few years. And it was a beautiful way to, move through the year with our community. And there was lots of room for creative, expansion and shifts and playing with that energy. It wasn't planned to the minute, to the post, to the video or whatever it was. But the underlying message was there in everything. And I had thought that the same was going to happen in February, because it worked so well. It was so beautiful. And I could have chosen any number of themes for us to connect into for 2023. I had lots to choose from, and they're all great, but I was waiting. I was trusting that, that the right focus for 2023 would show up, and it didn't. And I thought, okay, next week it's going to show up, or the week after. I'm going to just trust and wait. And I still, right now in this moment, don't know. And who knows, maybe that's, maybe this is the message. The creative pause. The magic that happens while we sleep, while we're unaware. How much creation is happening. A bear is growing in her mother's womb while she sleeps. It's quite something. So that was the energy. That was the message, to just trust in that creative flow at whatever stage it happens to be. And then, the next day it shifted, because then I saw Bear again in another way, in another place. And again, and again. So, and different bears. So it was, just to be clear, in case you're wondering, where am I seeing them? In visions, in, some people read tea leaves, and I use clay to cleanse with. And I will see different images come. Each time it's something different, and it's always fascinating. It's a little like reading tea leaves. But this time, the message was very different. This time the message was one of protection. And funny, Tourmaline is also known to be a stone of protection. So just adding that in. I tend to, to take each crystal on its own, but they do have a collective energy. And one of those things for Tourmaline is protection. The other is attraction, because Tourmaline has creates a static charge. And I will share. If I can find the story, I will share it on social or in a blog post. But so in this moment, the energy was about protection, and then it deepened. The message became wider, and it included ferocity. And it was like, how Mama Bear protects her cubs with a fierceness. They're known for that. They are, this is part of what we know about bear. And we even have the term Mama Bear, which relates to, don't mess with Mama Bear, because she will. You can't, Mama Bear will not let you mess with her children. And so, but the message was, for me, in that moment, of that ferocity of protection, but for my own self, to turn that energy that I usually save for my children or for my community or for people I love in my life, people who are close to me, how I protect them, to take that same ferocity and use it for myself, to protect myself in that same way. And it came at the perfect moment, because I've been dealing with this old trauma that's been coming up to be complete, to be resolved, to be released. And in doing so, I had to express, I had to speak about the story again, and in a very tender place, like, you know, um, and so, you know, that nervousness was there, but I also felt when it came time to share the story, that nervousness was there, but also I felt that so protected and so guarded and also so empowered to be able to speak my truth, you know, unapologetically. But, you know, with a confident calm. I'm sure I didn't sound very calm or confident while I was expressing it, but that energy was there holding me and, you know, guarding me. And that's something very special. So this is what I came to tell you today. To feel to remember to listen in for the personal message, to remember um, to also trust, because sometimes we don't even hear the message, but you just feel the energy, but we're not quite at the place of being able to put words to it. And that happens a lot, and I think that this is one of the beautiful magical things about crystals, is they don't require us um, to tell a story or to create a story or to be part of a story, you know, around how we're feeling and around what we're needing. They just vibrate out that energy and let us feel protected and held. So yeah, so that's why I'm here today. That's my message for today, um, and I hope that you are enjoying the energy of this really, really magical being. So much energy and magic here in this beautiful crystal, and more to come, I know. Um, you know, and beauty to witness. So beautiful. I hope you can see that shimmer that this beautiful being has. And now that I'm thinking about it, this crystal is held itself in this matrix. I'm going to show it to you. Completely surrounded by this matrix and held in this just I'm searching for the word because it's not just held, they're a part of each other. They have completely melded together, the Tourmaline and the matrix. They're one. You couldn't separate them if you tried, not without harm to either. So that's the kind of support that the crystals offer, is that support of oneness. It's very special. I hope you guys are feeling that. Okay, I have spoken for way too long, and I'm going to leave you with that and see you hopefully at the next live crystal meditation or in social media or through the community, through the Sunday Sparkles, however you want to connect. I look forward to being together. Many blessings, beautiful ones.